Hello and welcome back. Today's video is going to be about underrated makeup products. Now this is a video I have done before, but it was about a year and a half on my channel, and at that time I also did kind of overhyped up products as well. I don't know that I have new to add to the overhyped at this time, but I wanted to do this video again. I think at least one or two of these things though I did mention in that video, but I have some newer things to mention. Now you do hear about these products on YouTube and in the beauty community, but compared to other products and some other brands, you just don't hear as much, and I think they are very, very good. They deserve more attention, so I thought it would be fun to share. And please let us know some of the products that you consider to be, underhyped, underrated, and yeah, let's just get into it. First, I want to talk about a couple of lip glosses, and one is by JD Glow. Now, JD Glow is an indie brand, and they have been getting more traction, particularly for their eyeshadows and their highlighters, which I do have, and they are amazing. But I haven't heard anybody talk about their glosses, and this one is so good. It is in the color So What, and it is kind of a peachy shimmer. This has so much shine. It does have a brush tip. That is the only thing I don't like, and it has gotten splayed out. So that part I don't like, but the gloss formula itself and this outer packaging is actually really cool. I enjoy this quite a bit. Next up is a gloss from Persona, and I do think Persona does get a decent amount of attention, particularly for their eyeshadow palettes, the Identity and the Identity 2, which I did recently get the Identity 2, and it is so good. But I don't hear as much about their lip products. This is the only lip product I have. This is in the Honey gloss. This is such a nice formula. It is really smooth and really shiny. It is not sticky at all. It is kind of a brownish color. I do like this flat doe foot type applicator. This is great. I really enjoy this formula, and I would love to get more colors in this for sure. Next up is a concealer, and I feel like maybe I did talk about this in that other video, but I'm not certain. It is the CoverGirl True Blend Undercover Concealer. This is so good. This is one of the best concealers I've ever tried. I did do a ranking my concealers video, and yes, this is fantastic. I use concealer on my under eye. I have very dry under eyes, but I do have dark circles, so drying concealers just don't work for me. I need something that is more emollient, and this is definitely it. You can get pretty good coverage out of this. I do actually think this is fairly similar to Tarte Shape Tape, which I do like Tarte Shape Tape. I did recently repurchase that at the Ulta 21 Days of Beauty. This is slightly less coverage, but I find that both are very, very creamy, which is what I like. I cannot wear a drying concealer under my eyes. It just looks really terrible. And yeah, this is only $8 or $9 at the drugstore. One of the best concealers I've tried, high-end or drugstore, just all around, it's that good. Next up is a corrector. Now, this is the only thing I've ever tried from this brand, so I don't know anything about their other products, so if you do, let us know, and that is from Black Radiance. I got this at Target. It's only about $5. I was looking for a peach corrector, and this was the only one I could find, and it is so good. It has one of these squeezy tubes with a brush tip. This is so creamy. I love it, and I've been using it kind of under my eyes and then putting concealer on top, and I have used it on some hyperpigmentation as well. This is such a good formula. Oh my gosh, and it's only $5. Super creamy, really nice. It's not too pigmented, because I feel like if you put too intense of a corrector, then it may be hard to cover up that color. So I feel like it's a good medium level of pigmentation, which I feel like is probably best for a product like this. And yeah, this performs so well. I really love it. So if you've tried other Black Radiance products, please let us know, because I was very, very pleasantly surprised with this one. Since we're talking about complexion, I'm going to continue on with that. Now, ColourPop, people talk about ColourPop all the time. It is one of the most hyped up brands online overall. But this Pretty Fresh tinted moisturizer, when it came out, everybody reviewed it and did first impressions on it. And then after that, I heard nothing. Crickets. I'm not sure. I don't know if people didn't like it or what the deal was, but I feel like in those videos that I saw, most people did like it, but then they just didn't talk about it again. So I'm not sure, but personally, I love this. This you can build to medium coverage, which I think is actually pretty good for a tinted moisturizer. Medium coverage is my personal favorite. I don't need super intense full coverage, but I also don't like really light coverage. And this is definitely hydrating. Now I have combination skin, so things that are too hydrating can break down on the oily parts of my face, and things that are too mattifying stick to my dry patches. And this is a good one. Now I do have to set it with powder, but I set any tinted moisturizer and foundation with powder. Otherwise, my whole chin and jawline area will break up. This lasts pretty well for a tinted moisturizer. I mean, I can get this to last all day with primer and powder. And I think it's just really nice. The color I have is Fair 2W and it matches me really well. I did also buy the concealer in this line and I don't find that to be as impressive, but I like the pump packaging. I just think this is a great product. To me, it's a bit more than a tinted moisturizer. I think this is a bit more of a foundation compared to other tinted moisturizers that I've tried, which tend to be very, very light coverage. But yeah, I think this is a great, and I think this is one of the few products from ColourPop that actually deserves more attention. Alrighty, these next two products, if you've been watching my channel, you will have heard me talk about them multiple times because they are holy grails. They are things I repurchase over and over and over. First up, the Bare Minerals Mineral Veil. This is the only powder I use on my under eyes. Any other powder I've tried, except for one other one, either it's so drying that it makes my under eyes look like I'm 100 years old, or my concealer creases, and then if I put eyeshadow, I love to do eyeshadow on the lower lash line, but when I use other powders, it will transfer like all the way down here. I don't know what kind of magic is in this powder, but it is just so finely milled that it keeps my concealer from creasing without being drying. And it has a slight pink color to it, which I also like because I do feel like for me, a bit of pink on the under eyes tends to correct a little bit the under eye circles. I have even used this on my whole face. If I use a very light amount, you really can't see the color because I do have yellow undertones. So if I put a pink powder all over my face, that could make my face kind of look a different color. But if I use a light amount, I can actually set my whole face with this, and it's really not noticeable because there's not a lot of color to it. Also, I do not like the stark white powders. Even if they say they're translucent, I can use them on my face to do a bit of a setting and then I won't get that white cast. But on my under eyes, I've tried those powders and they all look terrible. They all just look like I have chalk under my eyes. So this, I just love it. I've been repurchasing this for I don't even know how long. This was something that was talked about on YouTube because that is where I heard about it, but it was a long time ago and I just don't hear many people talking about it anymore. People at that time were setting their whole face with it. Like I said, I prefer this for my under eyes, but yeah, holy grail, been repurchasing this for 8 years, maybe even more. Then we have the e.l.f. setting spray. This is the Makeup Mist and Set. They do have a mattifying version as well and an illuminating. This is just the original. This is the only one that I've tried, but this is just my favorite. It does not have denatured alcohol, which I prefer just because that really irritates my skin. I use this to prep my face for makeup, foil my eyeshadows, and I set my face with it as well. And the spray bottle, it's not the best, but they have improved it. A few years ago, the spray on this was like in your face. They have made it better, so that has improved. This is so good. And setting spray, because I use it so regularly, I tend to go through it very, very quickly. I think this is just as good as the Smashbox Primer Water, which I have used, and MAC Fix Plus, which I have used. Very similar to those and way cheaper for something like this that I run out of very quickly. I don't want to spend a whole lot of money. And like I said, a lot of setting sprays like the Urban Decay ones do have denatured alcohol, and I just prefer to avoid that, especially because I'm using it on a daily basis. This is cheap. This is good. It works. Highly recommend this. All right, we're going to talk about some Chic products, and then eyeshadow will be left for the end of the video. First up is this highlighter. This is by Undone Beauty. This is their 4-in-1 Nonser highlighting palette. This was sent to me for review purposes, but I would totally go out and purchase this myself. This brand in general, Undone Beauty, I don't hear a lot of people talking about it. It is sold at Target though, and also online. This is only $10 and it is one of the best highlighter formulas I have tried. It is so foiled, so metallic, but it's not chunky. And I will say that at the drugstore, good highlighter is a little bit difficult to find because some of the ones at the drugstore, they're either too chunky or they're just not pigmented at all. This is really good price point, and I do actually think this brand deserves more attention. I also have a cream blush from them that is absolutely amazing, and there's definitely more things that I want to try. They have a tinted moisturizer type thing that I really do want to try as well. So if you've tried that, let us know. But yes, this and their cream blush are amazing. Next up, we have another e.l.f. product. In general, e.l.f. does get a lot of hype, but these I haven't heard a lot about. I've heard some, but this is their primer infused blush. And this is in the shade Always Cheeky. It's just a peach color, nothing super unique, but this formula performs like a high-end blush formula. I will say that for a while there, I do think that the drugstore was lacking in good blushes that would actually last all day and not be choppy or fade very quickly. This really does last. It is a beautiful finely milled formula, and I really do like this one. I don't have any of the other colors, but yeah, this is fantastic, and it's only $6, and actually for that price point, I also think this is a very nice packaging as well. Then we have Wander Beauty. I do have this Trip for Two blush and bronzer duo that I got in BoxyCharm, and I also have a palette from them that I did get in PR. In general, I don't hear a lot about Wander Beauty. It is a bit more higher end, but it's not crazy expensive. This duo I think is $36. Their eyeshadow palettes are $42, but they also have some smaller palettes that are around $30. So it's not crazy expensive. I think maybe that it's not sold in as many mainstream stores, but this blush is so beautiful. One of the best formulas. I'm wearing this blush today. I'm not wearing a lot of it, but it is so pretty. It has a bit of a sheen, but there's no shimmer. I've talked about this before. I don't know how they formulated this, but it's just gorgeous. I don't know what else to say. This part, the bronzer, this is kind of a weird shade. If I build this up, I can get it to work out, but really I love the blush in here so much. And they do have, I think, at least one other color combo of these. Amazing formula, and in general, this brand, Wander Beauty, I don't hear a ton about it. They've had some other products in BoxyCharm as well, but yeah, overall, I probably would say that the brand in general is definitely underrated. And last up, we have eyeshadows. Now, eyeshadow is a really hyped up thing on YouTube, but I feel like there are new palettes coming out every single day. It's crazy. There's just so many out there. There's definitely a lot of brands that we hear about all the time. ColourPop, Natasha Denona, Pat McGrath, Juvia's Place. Those I really love, but I feel like those get talked about every single day. But first up, I want to talk about Inglot single eyeshadows, and I did talk about these in a recent video that I did with Look Fantastic, where they do sell Inglot eyeshadow. So some of these I got in PR, and some of these I bought myself. Their single eyeshadows are $7 each. And this formula, it is so good. The mattes are so smooth, so easy to blend, amazing. Now their shimmer formula is not a super intense foiled metallic, but it is quite shimmery and beautiful. I absolutely love these. Yeah, these have numbers on them, so it's a little hard to remember the names. But in that other video, I did swatch them and kind of review them, give you all that info. But in general, the Inglot formula is amazing. And in general, I don't hear people talk about Inglot. Now, again, this is something that was mentioned on YouTube several years ago, because that is where I first heard about this brand, but it was a while ago. I think it was a good like 6-7 years ago, maybe more, that it got a little bit of attention and then it just fell off. Nobody talked about Inglot. Again, I think it may be that it is not sold in as many mainstream stores. It's maybe a little bit more difficult to find. It is a European brand, but wow, this is so good. And I had a foundation from Inglot a while ago, and it was so good. I need to purchase more from Inglot. I've also heard very good things about their lipsticks as well. I know that their Duraline is a really popular product. I hear people talk about that a lot, but beyond that, I don't hear much. And yeah, these eyeshadows are very high quality, and I remember that foundation I really loved as well. Next up is also kind of a brand too in general, Smashbox. This is the Punked eyeshadow palette. This is $29. I recently talked about this in my Sephora VIB sale recommendations. This formula is so pigmented and easy to use, and just by looking at these shimmers, I didn't think they would be that foiled and metallic, but they're actually quite foiled, and I don't even need to use a wet brush. In general, people don't talk about Smashbox a lot, but personally, I love their primers. I have not tried their foundation, but I have heard really good things about that. These palettes also were something that did get a little bit of attention. I think they sent these out in PR to a lot of people of like 5 years ago, and people talked about them briefly, but then were kind of forgotten. I have this one and the Ablaze, and I still haven't used the Ablaze. I know I talked about that in that VIB sale video. I need to use that palette within the next week because I've had it for a few weeks now, but this one I've used multiple times and it is so good. So in general, Smashbox, it's fallen off the map. People don't talk about it a lot, but I think that out of the products I've tried, they are really good. Alrighty, Milani is a brand that is talked about quite a bit. It's a really popular drugstore brand. And this palette has gotten some attention, I will say, but I think partly it's because it's getting discontinued. It's not really available anymore, except for it is on the Milani website. This is the Soft and Sultry, and I also have the Bold Obsessions. I've talked about these a lot, and I do hear people talk about these a little bit on YouTube, but I do think because they're in the process of getting discontinued, people are kind of not really talking about them anymore. I'm not sure, but it is still available, and I still love this formula. And I've mentioned in other videos, I did buy one of the newer Milani palettes, and the formula was completely different. Powdery, just, it was straight up terrible, honestly. And I'm not extremely picky, so for me to say something is very bad, you know, it takes a lot, but this is so good. To me, this and the Bold Obsessions perform like high-end palettes, and they also have very luxurious packaging. So these, when they were on sale full price, they were about $15 to $20, depending on what the retailer was. They're still on sale on the Milani site for, I think, $9. I don't know why they're getting rid of them. I think it is a huge mistake, and that new palette I tried was no good. Maybe they've reformulated some of their other palettes. I'm not sure, but the Soft and Sultry is a gorgeous cool toned palette. One of the best cool toned palettes I've ever tried. And yeah, I think just in general, the performance of the eyeshadows and the packaging, I really think compares to a more high-end product. Last up, I want to talk about BH Cosmetics palettes. Now, these are getting more traction lately. I'm seeing more and more YouTubers talk about BH Cosmetics palettes, but for a long time, I didn't see a whole lot about it. And I will say, when I first tried BH Cosmetics 3, maybe 4 years ago, the quality was not great. The eyeshadows were not very pigmented and a little chalky, but they have come a long way. Talk about a brand that has improved their formula. I have several palettes from BH Cosmetics, and I do plan on ranking my BH Cosmetics palettes at some point also. This is the Beautiful in Barcelona, and this is what I'm wearing today. And wow, their formula, it is so good. Basically, in the last like 2.5 years, they've really, really improved it. So beautiful. This peach shade, I'm wearing this, and on the inner corner, I did not wet my brush at all. The mattes blend so easily. I love their color stories. This is a gorgeous color story with some kind of blues and some deeper shades. Also, I have the Avocado palette. It is so good. I have the Sylvia Ghani, which is amazing. And then I have 2 of the palettes that they discontinued, the Royal Affair. I've talked about that one a lot in the Weekend Festival. Really, my only issue with BH Cosmetics is that they discontinue their palettes very quickly and then come out with new ones, which, you know, I get it. That's a whole marketing tactic, but I wish, like the original Weekend Festival, they discontinued it, but then they came out with new Weekend Festival palettes, which I didn't buy those, but I kind of wish they would not get rid of palettes so quickly. That's really my only con, but very affordable. I think these that are kind of their city themed palettes, I think these are around $15. I got this at Ulta with Ulta points, but you can also order from the BH website. And yeah, just in general, I found the palettes I have are very consistent. The formula is pretty much the same in all of them, and it is very, very good. And it is a brand that, compared to several years ago where their products weren't great, they've really improved. That is it for this video. I really think these products are fantastic and definitely deserve more attention. If you have some other products that you would like to tell us about that you feel like do not get enough attention, please let us know. That is it. Thank you so much for watching and have a great day.